On Monday, September 10th, Bush flew to Florida to continue his campaign for No Child Left Behind, which was stalled on Capitol Hill in conference committee. The president stayed that night at the Colony Beach and Tennis Resort on Longboat Key, had a quiet dinner with his brother Jeb and a few select Republican donors, and went for his usual morning run at a nearby golf course. September 11th schedule included a photo op with second graders at Sarasota's Emma E. Booker Elementary School, followed by a major speech on education funding. After his intelligence briefing, Bush left the resort at 8:35 and arrived at the school about 20 minutes later. As he greeted the staff and teachers outside the building, Karl Rove told him that a plane of some sort had crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center in New York. An assistant in Washington had informed Rove via cell phone and had no further details. Rove assumed it was pilot error. "Keep me informed," said Bush. Shortly afterward, Rice called the president with the same message. Again, there were no details. Bush entered the classroom, seated himself on a small red stool, and the reading lesson began. As the teacher led the children through the pages of The Pet Goat, the president nodded his approval. 7 minutes into the lesson, Andy Card stepped into the room, leaned over to Bush, and whispered into his ear, "A second plane hit the second tower. America is under attack." The president was stunned. Blood drained from his face. He remained in the classroom another 5 minutes and then took his leave. "Very impressive. Thank you all so much for showing me your reading skills." Bush said later that he did not want to leave abruptly because it might scare the children and send ripples of panic throughout the country. Outside the classroom, Bush paused before a hastily set-up television screen and saw a replay of the second plane hitting the South Tower. Details were trickling in. American Airlines Flight 11 had taken off from Logan Airport in Boston at 7:59 a.m. and crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center at 8:46. United Airlines Flight 175 had left Boston at 8:14 and crashed into the South Tower at 9:03. A third plane, American 77, had taken off from Dulles International Airport in Washington at 8:20 and was lost to air traffic controllers. All 3 flights had been bound for Los Angeles. Bush moved quickly to the school auditorium, where the audience was expecting a major speech on education. He spoke briefly and extemporaneously. He looked drawn. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is a difficult moment for America. 2 airplanes have crashed into the World Trade Center in an apparent terrorist attack on our country." Bush promised that the full resources of the federal government would be employed to assist the victims and their families and to find those folks who committed this act. Terrorism against our nation will not stand. The president then asked the audience to join him in a moment of silence. At 9:30, Bush was racing to the airport to board Air Force One and return to Washington.